I guess depending on where you're at. It is a cold ass day here in Ohio. It is 26 degrees out. I took Duke potty at 4 o'clock this morning. I think it was 21, so it's actually warmed up a little bit. I am currently editing a episode, and then I've got to render another episode when I get this done. Spent pretty much all day yesterday editing. So that's the good thing about the holidays is you get some peace and quiet, nothing else going on, everything's closed, and you can just focus on editing. Got some people jumping in here right now. Don't forget, tonight is Kenzie and I's episode drops at 8 o'clock. I'm going to do a premiere with this because it's extra long. So you guys will get to see our road trip, leading up to our investigations, which is pretty cool. You'll get to see the only non-spotted giraffe in existence, which is just right outside of Greenville, Tennessee. Hopefully everybody had a happy Thanksgiving. Our Thanksgiving was okay. We actually ordered the Thanksgiving meals that Bob Evans had, and wasn't the best. Kenzie, did you like the Bob Evans meal? But we'll have more of a traditional Thanksgiving with Rocky and Sean and our families on Sunday. So you guys see Tucker hanging out in the background back there. Duke's over here. Yeah, so right now I'm kind of in limbo mode as this one episode renders. And then after this one renders, I'm going to render the next family haunting, which I'm pretty sure it's complete. Probably have to go through and do one more run through. Hello to all of our mods, Patreon family, Team Nightmare. Yeah, this whole week I've been dealing with allergies. Actually, Duke and I both have been dealing with allergies. So a lot of sneezing and all that fun stuff. It's like a lot of people have had the allergy stuff going on. Which it seems like it's awful late in the year for allergies to be messing up. Typically, well, I know with me personally, it's like when the farmers around here do, it's harvest time, so they start taking down crops. And then obviously in the springtime when everything's blooming. So this time of the year just seems weird to have allergies. Here in a little bit, I'm gonna give Duke a bath. Duke, you want a bath, buddy? Duke, you want a bath? You like taking baths, buddy? He's pretty good. He'll go get the bathtub and all that stuff on his own. Which I just gave Duke a bath. I gave Duke a bath a week ago? And then he had a play date with Nico. And after their play dates, they both smell like dogs because all the slobber and stuff. So I need to give him another bath. Anybody have any exciting plans for this weekend? Did you find out who was at the Ring doorbell camera? Yeah, that's a guy. He drives around on his lawnmower picking up scrap metal. which he's taken quite a bit of scrap metal from my house. But just if he rings the doorbell and he gets very frustrated if you don't answer the door. Do you reply to comments? Yes, we do, Dustin. A lot of people doing their Thanksgiving this weekend. Got the fam up in here. James, how's your sister doing? Been kind of following that on YouTube. So definitely our prayers go out to your sister. I know it's a horrible time of the year for things like that to happen, and I mean, it's never a good time for anything like that to happen, but during the holidays it's always more difficult. We actually got Thanksgiving, like I said yesterday, we ordered Thanksgiving meals from Bob Evans, and then we drove down to where my daughter works. So actually we ate Thanksgiving with my daughter at a police station. So that was unique. I bet nobody else ate their Thanksgiving at a police department. James says, it's been a struggle, not looking good, but we're all holding out hope. I really appreciate the love. Yeah, if you guys could all just say a prayer for James and his family. I know they're going through a difficult time right now with his sister, and which you never want to see happen to anybody. Yeah, we weren't in jail. I'll post a picture here in a little bit to YouTube. You can see us eating our Thanksgiving at the police department. Which was actually Kenzie's. That was your idea, wasn't it? It was actually Kenzie's idea because, you know, we knew she was working and wouldn't have any Thanksgiving meal or anything like that. So we decided to get our food and drive it to the police station, and we all had Thanksgiving right there together. So it was quite nice. Kenzie is off in the background doing schoolwork. Tara, thank you for the donation. Greatly appreciate it. You rock. Can you do a Chasing Evil next year? You guys are the best. God bless. Yes, we are actually working on Chasing Evil. I know I've been saying that for a while. Chasing Evil is always more complex as far as like filming your traditional family hauntings. Just because there's just so much more that goes on behind the scenes as far as the filming. We work closely with law enforcement, families. There's a lot more research that needs to be done. So there's so many different schedules you're trying to juggle around. I know we are working with the family on the Chelsea Co case. Some of you guys may remember that episode we did. There's some breaking information, and that's another thing that goes along with like the Chasing Evil is sometimes you have to wait for information to be released, more leads to come in, you know, because law enforcement's always following up on leads and doing their investigation. So I suspect that Chelsea Co will be the next episode we do, and then there was another one in Indiana that we're going to look into that a lot of people have messaged us about. There's another episode I really want to cover, and it takes place in Indiana as well. I've just got to get the okay from the family to work on that. Some of the other cases that we started working on, like the Sebastian Rogers case, which we could probably work on that one some more. Summerwell's case, we keep hitting dead end after dead end with the family. We prefer to have the family involved if we're going to cover the story. It just makes our life easier, and then I think just out of respect, we prefer to have the family on board. And we have hit dead end after dead end trying to get the Wells family on board with anything, which you would think after all this time they would be more open to um, other people looking into the case just to see, because you never really know what you're going to uncover. Yeah, the Sebastian Rogers case is one that I'm really, really surprised has not been solved yet. So we'll definitely have to get down to Tennessee to work on that one. And strangely enough, the Summer Wells case is not very far at all from our property. So, but yeah, we plan on working on Chasing Evil coming very soon. Matter of fact, when I get done with this live, I may message the family with Chelsea Co. and see Mike. Hey Josh, nice to spend Thanksgiving. Thanks, Mike. Yep, that one's going to go down in the books for Thanksgiving. Another good thing for Thanksgiving is the Cowboys won, which is always a good day. I was beginning to wonder if they would win another game yet this year. For those of you that are into football. Although I'm going to make an early prediction right now, I believe the Detroit Lions, as long as they stay healthy and nothing horrible happens, that they will win the Super Bowl. They're just a very complete team, and it's good to see Detroit being on the top. Detroit is one of those cities that we love to go to. Anna, we have not ever formally sat down and talked about any of that stuff, which we do plan on one day. Got some Detroit fans up in here. Did you guys eat deviled eggs? I do not eat deviled eggs. I do not eat anything with mayonnaise in it. And last time I checked, deviled eggs have mayonnaise. Somebody said Eagles. Yeah, I would say out of all the teams I've seen, Detroit's definitely got the best chance. Jennifer says Mayo's the best. Mayo's nasty. Got some Steeler fans up in here. I typically follow the Cowboys and the Bengals. Obviously, the Bengals they're only a little over an hour down the road, so. Although I do like Coach Tomlin with the Steelers, I'm just not a big Steelers fan. Although I think Tomlin's one of the top coaches in the NFL. Not a big Chiefs fan at all. Sorry, all you Kansas people. We appreciate you guys. I do like Patrick Mahomes, though, I will say that. Cowgirls. Yes, the Cowboys are pathetic this year. No excuses. I'd heard something, Jennifer, she's a big Redskins fan. I heard something on TV the other day that they were bringing back the Redskins name and doing away with the Commander's name. I'm not for sure if that's legit or just rumors circulating around the internet. Has anybody heard that? Dina agrees, mayonnaise is nasty. Trying to read some comments. They're just flying by so fast. Karen says, when I did a spirit box session for Sebastian Rogers, it said stepdad was involved, his disappearance. Yeah, I've looked into that quite a bit. I don't believe that, although it's not uncommon for like autistic kids to wander off, I just don't believe, given the circumstances, that Sebastian would just randomly wander off and not end up somewhere or somebody locally seeing him. So I think the whole notion that he just got up and walked out of the house and wandered off is very unbelievable. Unfortunately, when things like that happen, large majority of the time it's family or somebody within that inner circle that is involved. And obviously law enforcement knows that, so it's just always strange that the dumbest criminals can hide their tracks, and then people that overthink it and think they pulled off the perfect crime get caught so easily. Yeah, I don't believe that a lot of people believe that he just wandered off. Yeah, Andrea, that's one reason that we really didn't get involved with the Sebastian Rogers case early on, was because all the drama going on. We don't like to be involved with all that stuff. Typically, when we're filming Chasing Evil, we don't even post anything where we're going, that we're working on the case. We just go in, do our thing, leave town, before anybody knows that we're even in town, because it's sad that some of these cases get so caught up in all the drama when the main goal should always be, trying to figure out what happens to Sebastian and getting him the justice that he deserves, and hopefully bringing closure to his case. But unfortunately, there tends to be a lot of drama with cases like that. Yeah, we'll probably do, when we start filming Chasing Evil, it'll be Friday nights, just like we do. It'll just be in the place of a paranormal episode. Like the first season of Chasing Evil we filmed, I think that was 4 episodes, and it took us about 4 years to film those 4 episodes. Versus Paranormal Nightmare, where you can film 4 episodes in 4 weeks. So it's quite a big difference. But the one good thing I think that'll help us out with Chasing Evil this time around is just, one, our experience in researching cold cases, but also the advancements in the technology and the equipment that we would use to communicate with the spirits has evolved since then. So hopefully that'll help with some leads. Yeah, Joseph, I completely agree with that. Spirit Talker and Ghost Tube are always, they're either spot on with things that are going on, or they're useless. And that's the way with any type of paranormal equipment. Some alarms work well with certain cases, other times they're completely useless. But the more you use the equipment, you learn, I guess, when you're getting false readings, or when it could be something that could be paranormal or not. I mean, obviously it's always debatable what is and what isn't paranormal. And I think, like with our investigations, we don't really focus on, like if an alarm goes off, I don't ever say, oh my God, that was a ghost that set that alarm off. It's just that moment in time, it's something that we can't explain. And that's really what the paranormal is, right? Is anything that's out of the ordinary, anything that's not normal is considered paranormal. So it doesn't necessarily have to be I think we often equate paranormal with ghosts and spirits and things like that, but I mean, the word and definition is just things that we can't explain in a normal setting. And you'll see, especially with like some of the cases we have coming up here, um, throughout the night, we'll switch out. Like, say if we have a REM pod in one specific room and it's going off constantly, then we'll switch that REM pod out with another piece of equipment. And then if that other piece of equipment goes off in that room, we may switch it out again and put a third piece of equipment in there. So throughout the night, you're always trying to find rational explanations, but there's just some things that happen, which actually the case that I'm editing right now, this house, I always do an EMF sweep through the whole house before I get started. That way, because if you have an area when you're investigating, like say if we go into a bedroom and that bedroom's got super high EMF, if you stick an alarm in that bedroom knowing that it's got high EMF, then that alarm's probably going to go off. Now you don't know, is it something paranormal? Is it something in the room causing the high EMF? So when we do our EMF readings, our sweep through the house, we try to set alarms and stuff in areas that didn't have high EMF. That way we can kind of rule out it being like a false reading. And then we'll also switch out equipment and try to get different things going off. And that's the one thing that we've noticed in this one house, which you'll see is like when we first started, the alarms were going off like crazy inside this house. And at some point we all switch up because it was a huge investigation. So we had the house, we had the shed, and then we had the woods. So I stayed inside the house, Rocky went to the shed, and Sean went out to the woods. And the minute we split up and I was inside the house by myself, none of those alarms went off again. So that's just stuff that you can't explain. Is if it was just something naturally causing the alarms to go off, they would just continue to go off regardless of who was inside the house. So that's a pretty good case. And we really, right now we're working with the family, researching this case more, because I'm telling you guys, when you see this episode, the responses, and what was neat is the responses we got off of Spirit Talker, Ghost Tube, the SB7, and Necrophonic. We were running on different parts of the property. Like I said, the house, the shed, and the woods was all matching up. So we were getting the same response over like 4 different devices, which to me is always super compelling. Shannon Lynch, thank you so much for the donation. Happy Thanksgiving to the Foreman brothers. You're awesome, PN family. Shannon, thank you. Hope that you and your family had a wonderful Thanksgiving as well. So what is your guys's, if you could pick one piece of equipment that you would investigate with, what would it be? I am liking my tattoo. Have no plans on getting another one. DR60. I've never used the DR60. I believe, actually the only time I've ever seen a DR60 is the investigation we did with Paranormal Files. He had a DR60. Spirit Talker, Spirit Talker. Johnny wants to know, do you feel that the weather affects the spirits? I do. Just because we've investigated during like major thunderstorms, and you've noticed the spike of activity during those times. So I definitely believe that the electric energy that's in the atmosphere definitely increases the amount of activity that you focus. And a lot of people have even said when they do investigations on like a full moon that they'll have, and there's a couple other moons, I can't remember the names of them, but they're supposed to be really good times to try to communicate with the afterlife. And to be honest, I don't ever pay attention to the moon whenever we're investigating. Kelly Adams, thank you so much for the donation. Any new equipment coming in the future? Yes, we do have new equipment coming in the future. Some of you guys may or may not know we work with an outfit out of Indianapolis. These are all scientists, engineers. Some of them come from Homeland Security, and they are now building paranormal equipment. So they take our feedback. If we ever have any equipment that we think would be interesting, they're able to build it right there in their lab. And then we test it. Some of the stuff we like, some of the stuff we don't like. But yeah, we have some very, very people that are much more smarter than us when it comes to electronics that build our equipment. Thank you, Sabrina. Josh, hi from Oklahoma City. I am blessed to have found your channel. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much, Sabrina. Greatly appreciate the donation. We do use the SLS camera, depending on when it works or not. We need to get a new SLS camera. The one we have is kind of an older model, so sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work. So we definitely need to upgrade our SLS camera. That way we can just get it out and use it on more of a regular basis. But the one that we have, like I said, it's an older, we typically try to stay like old school. Sometimes we just run equipment until it's unable to run anymore. So we're definitely going to upgrade our SLS camera. Actually, the guys over in Indianapolis that build the equipment are working on building us an SLS camera. Thank you, Saul, for the donation. Greatly appreciate it. So definitely, and then I think the one other thing I would like to get, which we haven't got yet, was the rope lights. I'm sure you guys have seen those on other investigations. I definitely want to do that. Just save this video real quick. Sorry, I'm trying to render these episodes while talking to you guys. Yeah, this episode that I'm getting ready to render, and I'll put that up on Patreon, and then it'll be coming out on YouTube here in a couple weeks. It's definitely one of those cases where you're left scratching your head, like, because you document all this very compelling evidence, and then now you have to try to find something with the property, with the house, with the location that you can tie all these responses to. So I've been searching with unsolved murders and stuff like that in the northern Kentucky, Cincinnati area. Yeah, this case is definitely freaking... Sometimes, which you guys, a lot of people that follow us, you're very versed in the paranormal, so you understand a lot of this stuff. I always say we probably have one of the most knowledgeable chats of people that really understand the paranormal. So yeah, this was just one of those cases where you documented like super, super compelling evidence, like really intelligent haunting. Those are the ones that I guess make the best episodes, the ones that are super intelligent. Sometimes you get into like more of a residual haunting, and it turns out to be kind of a boring episode because the spirits just aren't able to communicate back and forth with you. It's just whenever things happen, they happen. So I definitely like the intelligent hauntings better. And this one's like crazy intelligent. The homeowner, she was having these crazy nightmares. Duke's getting mad at Tucker. If Tucker gets too close to Duke's couch, Duke gets upset. But she was having these crazy nightmares. So it was like almost like the spirits were coming to her in her dreams, trying to get this information to her. So it's absolutely one of the craziest cases as far as it being like super intelligent, I guess. So I think you guys will really enjoy this one. Yeah, we definitely need to do. I was talking to the homeowner the other day, and we're both doing research, trying to figure out how the information ties to the property. And this house had sat empty for several years before they bought it. And it was a younger couple bought this house, it was their first home that they bought, so it was a big investment for them. And then turns out that their house could be haunted. But you run into that quite a bit, so I don't know if you guys can hear Tucker making his noises. Yeah, we used the seer on that episode too. Got some pretty good stuff. Oh, Tucker's got a bed. Tucker's got a couple beds. Both the dogs have 2 beds. But Tucker tends to make like weird noises, and it drives Duke absolutely crazy. I don't know if you can see. Duke's laying down. I'll give you guys want a sneak peek of this episode I'm getting ready to render? If you want a sneak peek, give a thumbs up. Vernon wants to know, do any of you have paranormal activities at your house? Occasionally we will, sometimes. It just depends. It's always weird is like, we've done like super crazy cases that are very dark that you would think for sure something would attach itself to you. Typically the crazy cases that are super dark and really active, we've never had any issues. But like when we go into a case that's like super quiet, eerie, oppressive, those are the ones when we typically deal with effects after leaving the case. Like Don Warren, a lot of you guys remember that episode. That's probably the one that affected me the most. And you know, with that case, it's not like we documented all kinds of crazy stuff. It was just a super negative and heavy, oppressive investigation. So I'll show you guys a sneak peek of this episode real quick. Let me flip this around. Duke, don't start barking.
Had an entity show its face to me. Her whole face was decaying and she had no eyes. She had dark hair and she was trying to get in the house, sat on top of my chest and started choking me. I found out a lady named had passed away in the house 2 years ago.
What the hell was that? Hello? You guys are not gonna believe what I just freaking found.
If you could hit this door like you did.
It's us.
When did you go? Yeah, so a little sneak peek there. See, So yeah, what I gotta do now is I'll go through, do one more once over with the episode, do my spell check, make sure I spelled everything correctly. Sometimes when I'm out here editing at 4 o'clock in the morning and my coffee hasn't kicked in quite yet, I misspell some of the most random words. Nothing worse than putting an episode out with, I remember one time I put an episode out and I misspelled house. I was thinking of all the words to misspell. So yeah, I'll do one more once over with this episode. I think it's pretty complete. Everybody wants to say hi. Come here. Come here. So you've been a sleepy boy this morning, huh? We get a bath a little bit. You get a bath a little bit. You'll smell good. Duke's ready for Christmas. This episode will probably be in a couple weeks. Obviously tonight is the stuff that Kenzie and I did together. And then next Friday night will be the abandoned nursing home that my brothers and I investigated. This is a 60,000 square foot abandoned nursing home. It's never been investigated before. The owner contacted us. He's a big fan of the show, watches us, and said, hey, I just bought this nursing home. You guys want to come investigate it? And we went up there and spent the night investigating, and it was pretty good. Which you'll see when you're watching this, they're doing a lot of work to the nursing home, trying to clean it up. So there was some messes. You guys probably want breakfast, don't you? It's almost noon. I haven't fed you breakfast yet. Did I feed you guys breakfast? I can't remember if I fed them breakfast or not. Tucker's always ready to eat breakfast. Kelly said it's dinner time. Got Bethany Fury up in here. Yeah, so tonight, definitely check out Kenzie and I. It's a very unique premiere. I know you guys are used to like the traditional family hauntings. This is like no interviews, nothing like that. It's just straight up, stripped down, paranormal investigating. Kenzie and I document some very strange stuff at our hotel. Not saying it's paranormal or not, but definitely had some strange things happen in our hotel room. Which I think you guys will like tonight, because it's very behind the scenes, kind of our haunted road trip. Which I will say, Kenzie didn't find out about we were going to do any investigating until we were already down in Tennessee and I broke the news to her. So she knew nothing about us going to investigate.
Woo!
You can see they're having a showdown. Tucker and Duke. Kenzie, everybody said you're a beautiful young lady.
Thanks.
She said thank you. We got Deborah from Sydney, Ohio. That's not very far from us at all. Yeah, I'll feed my dogs here shortly. I would say the one really nice thing about this investigation tonight is seeing Kenzie being scared to death, but sticking through it and overcoming her fears. And so that's always makes a dad proud when you get to see one of your children overcome their fears. And I think you guys will really enjoy it. Definitely want to get my brothers and I was talking to the family that owns the house. Definitely want to get us back down there to investigate the house, do more of a traditional investigation with all the equipment, the three of us inside the house. Plus, I'd like to see how long Sean would last inside this house by himself. Kenzie, would you stay in that house by yourself?
No.
Kenzie's like, hell no. I'll tell you, you'll see in the episode tonight, because Kenzie didn't want to go upstairs. I didn't want to push her too far because I knew she was scared. So I wanted to try to make it as comfortable as possible for her. So she didn't want to go upstairs at all. So you'll see towards the end of the investigation, she goes outside with the family, and then I go up to the second floor. Absolutely crazy as hell. And we didn't even spend, I bet we were inside the house maybe an hour. And typically when my brothers and I go investigate, we're there 5-6 hours. We're there a lot longer than that, filming all day, but for the investigation itself. So it'd be neat to go back with the three of us, spend 5 or 6 hours inside the house and just see what we're able to document. Be pretty cool. It's probably one of the most haunted houses I've been into in a while. From Bangladesh, big fan. Thank you, my world. Yes, I just posted, which I don't know if you can see it on here or not. We do have Faith Over Fear merch now on our merch store. If one of our mods could post the link to our merch store. I'm assuming if you type in like Faith Over Fear, when you get there, it'll pop up. I actually haven't been to our merch store in a while. Been so busy editing. Yep, we will have Chasing Evil coming out here in the future. Also, if you're new here, please go check out our good friend Kyle's channel. I don't have the link with me right now, but Kyle Shamley. We've been really plugging his channel. He's a great kid, does super short videos. Like some of them are like only like 1.5 minutes, 2 minutes long. But his channel is exploding. We call it Kyle Nation. So definitely, I think when I first plugged his channel, he had maybe 4,000 subscribers. And I checked this morning and he's about ready to hit 20,000 subscribers. So all of you who went to Kyle's channel and subscribed, thank you so much. I know it means the world to him to have, see his channel grow. Thank you, Tanya. Would Kenzie do a live chat? Yes. What I'll do is sometime next weekend, we probably won't have time to do it this weekend because her cheer starts up for basketball actually tonight, and then Saturday she's got a game. So maybe next week, me and Kenzie will sit down and do a live chat and discuss the investigation, and you guys can ask her some questions. You want to do that? We'll set a time limit. We'll say like half hour. So yeah, we'll do that next week one day. It's a pretty good idea. You guys always suggest some very good ideas. Yeah, like I was saying with Kyle, thank you guys all so much who have went there and shown him some love and support and subscribed to his channel. Like I said, he's a great kid. Absolutely loves doing like social media. He's always giving everybody hearts and I believe he comments back on some of the people, so definitely check Kyle out. I believe he just posted a Christmas video this morning. That's the first thing I do when I get up in the morning is make coffee, take Duke P. I check Kyle's channel to see if he had any updates, and then start editing. Yeah, definitely Kyle's a good kid. I think sometimes it's easy for us to get so caught up as creators, get caught up on, how many subs you have, how many views you get and all that stuff. And, at the end of the day, obviously it's nice when you're a creator to get views and likes and feedback and the comments and all that stuff, which we greatly appreciate. But when you see somebody like Kyle, you just see how important that really is to him and how much he really appreciates it. For us, it's always a big thing to give back to or try to help, smaller channels like his. He's doing all the work. He definitely puts in a lot of hard work and a lot of time into his channel. We just give him that extra boost. So let the dogs out, make coffee, then feed the dogs. I feel like that's everybody's morning routine. Mine is make coffee, take Duke out. By the time I take Duke potty and come back in, I've got like this much coffee in my coffee pot, and I can do that. And then I drink coffee and start editing. Thank you, Yvette, for posting that link. I'm really new to you and your team. Have you done an episode on the history of Cincinnati? We have not. We've filmed quite a bit in Cincinnati. Actually, what is today's date? Next weekend, we actually have an episode. We'll be down in Cincinnati working with a family. So this will probably be like 10th or 11th time we've filmed an episode in Cincinnati. Thank you, Tammy. Greatly appreciate it. Duke definitely wants some love. Diana wants to know, what do you think God thinks about what you're doing? I really don't know. I know there's a lot of, the Catholic Church, and I know a lot of churches are heavily involved in like the paranormal and cleansing people's houses and things like that. Maybe they're not actually actively out there investigating. I know we've done cases for like the Catholic Church where they've asked us to go in and investigate and see what we can come up with. And then basically we document whatever evidence we can. They look at it and they decide, the parish decides how to proceed forward with the case, whether they're going to take it on or not take it on. Because obviously, in order for a priest to be involved, there has to be some type of evidence to back up what's going on. So we have worked with churches and stuff like that. I think as long as you do it for the right reasons, and our main focus, even though we are a paranormal group, our main focus is not documenting evidence. That's not like our main passion or what drives us. The main thing is, like the episode last week, going in and helping a family, regardless if it's paranormal or not. A lot of these people just want somebody who's going to sit down, listen to them, hear them out. Then you do the investigation, and obviously you document whatever you can document. If we document evidence, that's great. If we don't document evidence, I would never tell a family like, oh, you're full of shit. We weren't able to document anything because, their truth and their reality is what they've been living. And we're only there for a short period of time. So, like I said, our whole thing is helping people. And with like the family last week, when we met with the family originally, you've seen how they were. And then our goal is to leave that family in a better spot after the investigation, after we leave. And majority of the time that works out. Sometimes it just doesn't work out that way. Sometimes they still have activity. I'm of the mindset that you could cleanse a place over and over and over again. Doesn't necessarily mean you're going to get rid of the haunting. I believe if the spirits aren't ready to move on, they're probably not going to move on. I believe that if you're dealing with a residual haunting, where like you guys have heard, it's like that tape recorder playing over and over and over again. It's just that time in history, that energy that is imprinted on a location. It's not really something that you can drive out of a house. That's just part of the history and of that location. So our main focus has always been helping the families. Whether or not we document evidence or don't document evidence, I mean, you guys have all seen, we've got some very boring ass episodes, but a great story. We've had some amazing evidence we've documented, crazy episodes. So, you get there, you meet with the family, you shoot your interviews, you turn on your cameras, whatever happens, happens. That's how we do things. Like, I don't need to document evidence as a paranormal investigator to feel successful or feel like I accomplished something. Ultimately, helping the families and putting them in a better situation, helping them understand what's going on, regardless if it's paranormal or not, that's our main goal. I think there are some people out there, obviously, that misconstrue the reality of what we do. They kind of lump us into all the other paranormal teams they see on YouTube. I've always said, like, the teams that go out there and just document nonstop evidence every case they go on, crazy ass evidence, either are super, super lucky getting into a very haunted location at that particular time, or other things are going on. So yeah, we just do our thing. We put it out there for you guys. I don't think we've ever told anybody. Like, I know, like this last episode I did, because anytime you put demon in the title, it triggers people for some reason. And maybe because it's used so much across YouTube. But like with this episode we just did, it wasn't like the demon like running around your house, this demonic entity. The word demon was when we are going through challenges in our life, whether it be through addiction or depression, we all face our own demons. And that was kind of where that was going. So demonic, demon isn't always about some mythical creature running around your house, some horned, hoofed creature. It's, it could be the demons that we're facing. We deal with a lot of families that suffer from addiction or past addicts and stuff like that. So there's definitely, when you use those types of words, it could be very broad. So I think anytime you box it into one little box, you're missing the whole point of what some of these families face. Yeah. So that would be a whole nother subject and a whole nother video. But definitely that episode, and I think, the episode was it was more about the message. People out there that are struggling, who have struggled in the past, who are fighting their own demons, to not give up and keep fighting the fight, and know that there will be brighter days out there. We all go through shitty times in life. We all have horrible things that happen. And I think it's just important to remember that, God gave us one life to live, and we have to live that to the best of our abilities. and understand that you just roll with the good times, you roll with the bad times. So yeah, our message is more of helping people. We're not, although we do love the paranormal, we do love investigating, being in the moment, trying to document the evidence of the afterlife. Like, I have no questions that there's an afterlife. Like, I have zero questions whatsoever. I don't question the existence of God. I don't question any of that stuff anymore. And it's just through life experiences, things that we've documented, personal experiences that you've had that, have nothing to do with the paranormal. So I've always said, if you believe in nothing, you will fall for everything. Is that how that saying goes, Kenzie? I think that's how it goes. And that's even with us. I look at, the things that we went through and then where we are today. And the ride that we've been on, this journey for the past 20 some years, is just surreal. Sometimes I feel like we've lived the life of 3 different people. That's how it goes. If you don't stand for anything, you'll fall for everything. So even though I've been doing this for 20 years and I fully believe in the paranormal, I would never... Thank you, Donna. What do you suggest when activity is mellow to stop it before you need your guys? That's the big thing is, and the one thing I tell families, because they'll reach out to us and they'll be like, we believe we got something going on here and we just want to address it before it gets too bad. Excuse me. And that's the big thing is get in, do the investigation, do the cleansing, and then hopefully get rid of it before it does get too bad. Because like what we dealt with as kids and what we've seen with almost every investigation we've done over the years is everything starts out little. It'll start out with small things happening. And then the more that you start to recognize it and acknowledge it, then that energy grows and it becomes a lot of times a very dangerous situation. These things, a lot of people think of hauntings as knocks on the walls, things moving in your house, seeing spirits flying around your house. These things actually can affect you on a deeper level, emotionally, physically. They cause families to argue. They cause bad shit to happen in your life. These things typically affect people that have an addictive personality. So yes, a lot of the people that we do investigate are active addicts or they have an addictive past. Satan isn't going to focus his attention on somebody that's deep in their faith and strong in their faith. He's going to go after the people that are the weakest, that he could take advantage of and easily manipulate, is stuff that we've found. And that's why the stuff that we went through as children's helped us understand how to work with these families and understand what they're going through and to see the signs. So to Donna's message, it's always good to get in and investigate before things get out of hand. And I never want to, you don't ever want to blame every bad behavior or every bad decision that somebody makes on anything paranormal. But I believe that the evil, negative energy has something to do with it. If you believe in heaven and hell, you believe in good and evil. And I believe just as, God may have us do these good things in life, the devil can do the same thing and manipulate us to do these evil, hateful things in life. So it's always important to, and I think people that are just, dealing with a lot of stuff are very susceptible to See, Sarah, she shared a good message about people that are suffering with addiction and stuff like that is at your weakest moment, you know, I believe is where you are most susceptible to these negative things taking hold of you. That's where I've been fortunate enough, like, we grew up with alcoholism and addiction and stuff like that. So I was able to recognize that at a young age where I haven't tasted like alcohol besides the one investigation where I took a shot of whiskey. But I haven't tasted alcohol in like 30 years. So I'm just always aware and subconscious of that. Not for sure about I don't do the whole Good Friday. I'll probably do the Cyber Monday, do a lot of the shopping online. I'm sure at some point Kenzie and I will go Christmas shopping. No more tattoos. I am doing good. Thank you very much. I am on this live a lot longer than what I anticipated, but sometimes you guys ask some very, very, very good questions, and I tried to answer them. And also remember, I don't have the answers for everything. My experiences with the paranormal, which we dealt with from 8 years old till now. So, I mean, that's a long time to have. Yeah, definitely. When you, how are Rocky and Sean doing? They are doing good. We actually all, at I think 8 o'clock this morning, Rocky texted me, Happy Thanksgiving. And then I texted back, Happy Thanksgiving. And then Sean texted, Happy Thanksgiving.
This morning?
Yeah.
Did you know today's not Thanksgiving, right?
Well, we know today's not Thanksgiving. Angela, thank you so much for the donation. Love, love, love. You all three. Thank you. Greatly appreciated. Yeah, typically, like in between, we do, I mean, obviously we talk after, in between investigations and stuff, but usually, like after a long road trip and a very intense investigation and the filming and all that stuff, we'll typically take 3 or 4 days off, and we won't call or text each other or anything like that. It's just good to have that break where you can unwind and get ready for the next. Because you got to think, we literally have maybe 1 or 2 days of a break in between cases. So you try to find any way possible that you can clear your head, spiritually ground yourself, and just prepare yourself for the next investigation, because you never know fully what you're going to get into. But yeah, here shortly I'm going to have to feed the dogs and all of my duties. Isn't there a tattoo you can get that repels demons? I have no clue. Hate to fail. How do you become a spiritual leader? I don't know that you ever, I mean, I guess some people do set off to become like a spiritual leader. Like, I would not consider the three of us like spiritual leaders at all. We get asked quite a bit about that stuff. We just go in and do, you got to think, we've been doing this for over 20 years. So we've done, I would say, probably 3,000 family hauntings, maybe more than that. Yeah, it's got to be up over 3,000. So we've been doing this a long time. We learned, because back when we first started, we never did the cleansings. We always brought other people in to do the cleansings and the house blessings and stuff like that. We worked with learn a lot off from like Bishop Long, Cat. We've worked with other priests over in Indiana. So it was a learning process until we first felt comfortable to cleanse a house. Because obviously, if you don't cleanse a house properly, and that can be probably the most dangerous point of the whole investigation for the families. So it took us, Lord, I can't remember when we first. I bet we investigated 7-8 years before I ever felt comfortable doing a cleansing and a house blessing. And a lot of it is like helping to empower the family to stand up, take their life back. As investigators, we can only do so much. We can come in, do the investigation, document the evidence, do the house cleansings, but like every family will tell you that we've worked with, we leave them with a huge thing of things, equipment to continue their investigation, or not their investigation, their cleansing, and a very detailed list of the steps to do the cleansing. So after we leave, the family continues to cleanse the house. So it's not like one and done. It's a long process after every investigation. So, it's also up to the family to continue that and to, like the thing with Rob, you could see that Rob was obviously an emotional wreck, had a lot going on, had dealt with a lot of trauma. And so my big thing with Rob was, lifting him up, helping him find his strength again, to live again, to stand up and fight. That was probably the most important thing with that. So anytime we have moments like that where you can, especially where, like one man can help another man, and it's very unique. And, Rob and his wife is one of those cases that's going to stick with us. We've still remained friends with them. And it's just good to give somebody that extra boost to help them stand up for themselves. And so those are always the cases that are kind of tricky, because it's very frustrating for me. I would say for the three of us, when people use cases like Rob's. Obviously, it was a very emotional case. There was a lot going on. Clearly, we're aware of that when we're there filming, because you're seeing all this stuff firsthand. With the family hauntings, there's just so many twists and turns. You never know what to expect. Like, we had no clue that they would call and say that his best friend had just died. So then that just adds another layer onto what we're trying to achieve with helping this family. So it's very disturbing when I see other people out there trying to exploit episodes like that and manipulate it to where it's not something that it was ever intended to be. So I just find that very creepy and cringy that, there are people out there on the internet that want to try to twist and turn things to make themselves seem more important, and miss the whole story, the whole reason we were there. And, instead of trying to turn it into a negative situation, I think we should all be very thankful and happy that, Rob and his wife is living in peace, and he's been able to regain his strength. And I think that's stuff that we should celebrate. And it just seems like we're living in a time where it's like everybody wants to outdo everybody. Everybody wants to make themselves feel more important than somebody else, when I personally feel like it gets back to, like I said, you've only got so much time here on earth. And I would rather spend my time helping people and putting out a positive energy and versus being negative. Which I'm sure all of you guys agree with me, otherwise you wouldn't be here following our channel. Yep, I agree with Rita. There's no guarantees that tomorrow will come. I mean, we're all human. We've all faced tragedies and lost loved ones and lost close friends. And, the minute I end this live, something horrible could happen. So you're never guaranteed minute to minute. So you just try to live it the best you can. And obviously we all make mistakes, but except for Kenzie. Kenzie's pretty perfect. I said you're pretty perfect. And we all very, very grateful for you guys. Without this platform, without what we do, we wouldn't be able to reach so many families, travel so far. I remember like I know I've told this story before, but literally from 2003 all the way to 2017, we literally scraped by to have the money for the weekends to go out and spend for gas and travel to work with these families. So, 2017 wasn't that far back. So we are all definitely grateful for you guys' support, and it helps us reach more families, travel further. And so this journey is just, I guess, as much as you guys, you're as big a part of it as we are. It's kind of crazy to think that we've been on this journey for 20 years. I know a lot of you guys have been here since day one. A lot of you guys might be here, just found us a week ago. So regardless if you've been here 20 years or one day, we greatly appreciate it. Yes, we have come a long way in 20 years. When we first started investigating, we literally knew nothing about the paranormal. My editing skills were like cringy. That's what Kenzie says. She'll watch some of my old videos and tell me how cringy they were. But, it's all been a learning process. And, we were not only trying to navigate our way through learning how to investigate the paranormal and interview families and editing and producing these episodes, but it was also, like a journey for ourselves, because that's kind of what sparked it is, we wanted answers as to why our family went from this normal family to having this god-awful violent haunting taking place. And so it was more of a self-fulfilling journey, I guess. And it wasn't until we started working with families and investigating and sitting down and learning from families where we grew our passion to helping people. And because I think when you first get into it, you're like, I want to be a paranormal investigator and go out and have all these jump scares and document this evidence, and all that's fun. But I think when you learn to appreciate how you can actually help people and change their lives, that's when it becomes more important. And the message and the journey and everything far exceeds anything paranormal related. So technically we are a paranormal group, but I believe our mission is greater than anything paranormal related. Let's see here. Do you think there's more hauntings or people are more open to talk about it? I think definitely people are more open to talk about it. I don't know if there's more hauntings statistically now versus 10 years ago. I do know that the cases have gotten darker and more negative now. And I think it's just because now paranormal investigating is so easy where like literally you don't know how many families we contact or contacts us and they're like, I downloaded this app. I was wanting to communicate with my brother who passed away 3 years ago, and then all of a sudden they opened up this Pandora's box and they've opened up this gateway to the other side, and now they're dealing with all this crazy stuff. So I think it's just more of investigating the paranormal has become so easy where all you have to do is, get on your phone and download an app and you can start talking to spirits. And I think anytime you open that doorway to communicating with the other side, you just always have to be careful of what may come through. And that goes with any type of equipment. It doesn't matter if it's an app, a spirit box, a Ouija board, anything like that you could probably just literally sit here in this room and start trying to conjure up spirits and something might happen. So it doesn't even necessarily mean that you need equipment to conjure something up and contact the other side. It's just whenever you open that doorway, you just have to be aware of whatever may come through may not be, your brother who passed away 4 years ago. And that's the thing I think is with every haunting, unless you just move into a house that's already haunted, like say if I was living here, hey Kenzie, can you get me a little bit of tea? Yeah, thank you. Like our house here, I know this house isn't haunted, but if I woke up tomorrow morning and we started experiencing activity, there had to have been something that triggered that activity to take place. As investigators, that's kind of our job, is to figure out who or what is there, why are they there, what triggered it. So that's really the whole purpose of the investigation, is to see if the spirits have a message before you do the cleansing and help them move on. Thank you, Kenzie. I don't typically drink tea, but like I said, my allergies and dry throat. Yes, this is sweet tea. We drink what is it, what's the brand? I don't typically drink sweet tea. I prefer tea without sweetener in it, but Pure Leaf is what we drink. It's a pretty good tea. Gold Peak's a good one. Yeah, we used to make tea, like with the tea bags and stuff, make our own tea, but it seemed like it never got drunk fast enough. So anybody that's ever made like tea at home, if you don't drink it, fast enough, it tends to go bad a lot quicker than the store-bought tea. Yep, this is raspberry. You said this is raspberry, right? Yeah. I usually drink coffee and Kool-Aid. That's my only two drinks I ever drink. Kelly doesn't like tea. I don't drink like warm tea or anything like that.
That's what would help your allergies.
Yeah. Sweet tea they have at Chick-fil-A is good. Where's Duke? Duke is right behind me. If I say bath, that'll trigger Duke. Duke, you want a bath? Duke, you want a bath? Are you ignoring me? Duke. Come here. You want to get a bath here in a minute? Come here. Jump up here so people can see it. Come here. No, come up this way. Come here. So people can say hi to you. You've been a lazy boy today, haven't you? So you've been a lazy boy today. I think the cold weather has Duke being lazy. Excuse me. Whose dog is Tucker? Kenzie, whose dog is Tucker? Kirsten's. Tucker, come here.
She got
Come here, Tucker.
for her birthday.
Tucker is very antisocial. I know a lot of people are always like, why don't you ever give Tucker any love? Well, Tucker doesn't like when you give him love. There's sometimes like when I come home from like a long road trip, obviously Duke's excited, and then Tucker will get excited, and you're able to give him love, and he gets all excited and stuff. For the most part, Tucker just wants to be left alone. Like, he wants to do his own thing and doesn't want you touching him. Yep, Tucker just likes to relax. Well, hopefully I've answered some of your guys' burning questions today, and hopefully you guys all had a happy Thanksgiving. Those of you that do not celebrate Thanksgiving, hopefully you had a wonderful day. I believe Canada's Thanksgiving was, what was that, like a week ago?
Is it the same?
No, I think Canada's like a week before us. Any of our Canadian friends can let me know if I'm right or wrong. I'm typically wrong. October's Canadian Thanksgiving. Obviously, Christmas, not everybody celebrates Christmas either, but that's something that's like worldwide as far as when we celebrate Christmas. So at least when I wish everybody a Merry Christmas, it'll all be on the same schedule. I don't know if other countries do Thanksgiving, or
Some do.
I feel like it would just be the countries that were somehow tied to the British colony. Which I guess back then was probably almost every freaking country, wasn't it? At some point, we were all under British control. Come here, Dookie. Is that right?
I don't.
Kenzie's a historian. She knows everything about history, so
Well, not like
anything I have any like historical questions, she always answers them for me.
no, not good like world history. It's more just like U.S. history.
I'm sure somebody will respond in the comments and, Josh, how can you be so stupid and not know that stuff? Yes, Kenzie is a very smart girl. Definitely a lot smarter than I was when I was her age. Actually, you're probably more smarter than me now. I think you are. I was a very bad student in school. Lisa says we have Thanksgiving. Where are you at, Lisa? Yeah, I gave Duke ice cream last night. Him and Tucker got some ice cream. See, it's okay if I call myself stupid. It's just you guys aren't allowed to call me stupid. And I mean stupid in a nice way. When it comes to certain things. I would say ignorant to some things. Like I'm very street smart. But yeah, I just wanted to come on here and kind of give you guys an update, remind everybody about tonight's episode that Kenzie and I filmed. So everybody, please swing by the premiere tonight at 8 o'clock and watch. If you guys are traveling for the Thanksgiving holidays, please be careful on the road. I know it's a dangerous time of the year to travel during the holidays. And then like we were talking about earlier, one day next week, Kenzie and I will jump on a live and you guys can ask Kenzie questions about her investigation. So if you come up with any questions after watching the episode, definitely write them down. And Kenzie and I will go live and answer some of your burning questions. May try to get Rocky and Sean over here to join us as well. I'm going to feed the boys, then give Duke a bath. Other than that, everybody, please have a wonderful rest of your day. Like I said, please be safe. And if you're new here, swing over and smash that subscribe button, hit the like button, go over to our good friend Kyle, make sure you subscribe to his channel. I think he might hit 20,000 subscribers by the end of the day. So Kyle is crushing it on YouTube. Other than that, you guys all have a very safe weekend. We will see you tonight in chat. And thank you for spending a little bit of time with me. So we're going to go feed the dogs. Thanks, guys.